So let's start by settling the body, finding a comfortable, stable, upright position, serviceable for meditation. So we keep our feet flat and our back straight, torso open, hands in the lap, right over left, with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open. We try to avoid slouching or leaning. We also let go of unnecessary tension in the body, relaxing into a stable, upright position, letting the body just fall into place. Then let go of attending to your environment, holding your awareness just to the body and mind. Using the physical sensation of the air as it passes into and back out of the tip of the nostrils to anchor that awareness in the present, letting go too of thoughts of the past and plans for the future. and then generate broad and altruistic motivation, wanting to use your time to tap into your potential, to develop new familiarities with constructive mental states and reduce the tendencies and the habits that give rise to your own suffering and tend to motivate actions that cause suffering for others, so that spontaneously one is of greater and greater benefit. And we'll contemplate the aspects of our reality that we often have trouble deeply intuitively grasping, which is impermanence and death, recognizing that as we go through daily life, we have an endless stream of experiences, almost all of which we tend to categorize as pleasant or unpleasant. Each time we meet something that we think is pleasant, we decide that the object, the situation, the person is made up of attractiveness, inherently in the nature of attractiveness. And we think that that is an unchanging aspect. And then we feel like in order to be happy, I can never be separated from what I find pleasant or attractive. Because pleasantness, attractiveness is separate, out there. And the same is true of things that seem unpleasant. The unpleasantness seems intrinsic to the object. And the only way we can be happy is if we separate ourselves from what is out there and is unpleasant from its own side. We can recognize that in the light of wisdom, these points of view fall apart. And yet we find it difficult to bring that wisdom into our experience again and again, day after day. when we do analyze, we can recognize that each of these experiences, each of these objects is comprised of a beginningless chain of causes and conditions, and that we're experiencing only one instant in that chain. We can also recognize that there are many facets, many parts to the object. Not all of those parts we would even ourselves think of as pleasant. Or unpleasant. We can also recognize that it's our own experiences, our own culture, our own unique history that gives us a framework of determining what we find pleasant or unpleasant. We then label that onto the object. It is a snapshot of beginningless cause and effect, and comprised of many facets, some of which are pleasant, some of which are unpleasant. The fact that we observe only one moment in this chain of causality means in the next moment the object is different. So bring to mind an object that gives rise to feelings of attachment for you, and try to analyze it in this light of wisdom. in many cases, things that undergo that momentary change, that are characterized by impermanence, will eventually reach a point where that change causes the object to no longer function as that object. And our body is one such object. At the moment of our conception, the process of the changing impermanent nature of our physical body began. And inevitably, that process will result in our physical body no longer being capable of hosting our consciousness. Body and mind will separate at death. You can think that using logic and reasoning, we can demonstrate to ourselves that no human being in history has ever been able to cheat death. No matter how much wealth or status or power, kings, queens, presidents, billionaires, those who have achieved the highest honors, even the Buddha showed the aspect of passing away. So although every day we wake up and think, I definitely won't die today, you can recognize that death is definite. We can also recognize that the time of our death is completely indefinite. Many people went to bed last night with plans to wake up this morning and go to work. They passed away in their sleep. Many people are preparing to go to work, but they won't make it. At the end of today, many people will be preparing to come back home, but they will never arrive. We might think that our age or our health means we have many more years. But often, young, healthy people die, and people who seem quite sick or frail live for many years. And we can think that when I do die, what is it that will be of any benefit? You can recognize that it's only the content of our mind as we go through that process alone. Only the spontaneous tendencies and habits that arise will protect us. Contemplate these points. So then make a determination to take your spiritual life seriously, to put effort into your practice so that those tendencies and habits will be deeply ingrained at the time of death. And try to hold that determination single-pointedly. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. And we'll dedicate. So recollect your altruistic motivation and think that having contemplated in this way, you've actualized that motivation and created positive energy in the mind, which you freely offer for the benefit of all sentient beings without exception. Thinking may it ripen in whatever way is truly beneficial for sentient beings. May it serve as a cause and condition to put an end to war, and conflict, and poverty, disease, natural disasters, all harmful inner and outer conditions. May it fully ripen the minds of sentient beings, allowing them to quickly perfect their minds and arise in the state of full enlightenment. May I too achieve that state of enlightenment to provide me the ability to benefit sentient beings perfectly. May any obstacles facing the Guru's long life be completely dispelled. And may I and all sentient beings in this moment come under the joyful care and guidance of enlightened beings until our swift enlightenment. Thank you.